Hello, welcome back to Fist Entertainment. This time for my next movie series to review. And that would be one that a lot of people think is not really associated with fall season and Halloween and all that. But honestly, if you pay very close attention, it's a very fall season originated franchise. And I feel that it definitely fits in quite well, despite it being a very romanticized franchise. And that, of course, I'll showcase the box set, the Twilight Forever box set, which contains everything in it. First side. Of course, they're all in sleeves. Alright, now I got that under all done. Alright. So let's talk about the first one. Now, I've seen all but the last one of these films on the big screen. So, let's talk about the overall theatrical experience I had back in 2008 when watching the first Twilight movie. The film was actually surprising. You know, it was actually dark enough out here. I don't actually need these. But the film was actually quite surprising to me. Because I was, when it got mentioned that this franchise was going to get made, I was like all the other members of the male species. I thought this was some romanticized bullshit. Now obviously, before I continue, yes, I am aware there are a lot of parents out there that are very minuscule and very much miscreants when it comes to these movies and let their kids watch them. There are vampires in these movies. There are werewolves in these movies. And despite glowing in the sun with sparkles, they still are very much vampires in their nature. They still do kill people. They still do suck the blood out of people's arteries. The last time I checked, werewolves were still very violent, and they tear things apart in these movies, and is very sexually orientated and very adult. It has some very serious theologies in them. So, I really do not see a problem at all by saying that these reviews are for adults only and are not made for children. And we got that out of the way. Let's talk about the rest of my original experience. This wowed me. It actually wowed me. It had a very good fantasy element, and it had a very good flow to the film. I thought the acting performances were very, very good. It may not be my definition of a vampire or werewolf movie, but it is a good movie. So, apparently there's no plot synopsis on a box set, obviously, so I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. A city slicker teenager moves into a New England town called Forks with her father, to where she befriends a mysterious man by the name of Edward. When she starts falling in love with this teenage guy, she discovers that he is a part of a vampire covenant. And when other covenants discover their untimely love for one another, a battle between good and evil rages, in which his coven has to protect our main character, whose name is Bella, I might add, played by Kristen Stewart, and Edward, played by Robert Patterson, from pretty much rival Covenants of Vampires. And it's very much just a romance movie with a lot of gothic nature. Now, what I mean by fall elements, there's not really a whole lot of sunlight in these movies. It's almost like the town of Forks literally is so covered up by trees and forests and stuff like that that there's really only 2 seasons in these movies, and that would be fall and winter. There's not really much in terms of spring and summer at all in these movies. Alright. Quality. Well, there may be 4K versions of these movies. I have not checked. I'd be surprised if there isn't, to be perfectly honest with you. But this is the 2K versions of the film, so these have 2K DIs on all 5 films. They are presented in 2.4.1, also known as 2.40.1 CinemaScope widescreen, and all contain DTS HDMA audio presentations. In terms of the first film is a 5.1 DTS HDMA. Now the picture is quite brilliant looking. Lots of good colors. It makes very good use of this atmosphere of being a very dark movie with not a whole lot of sunlight, but more like, I say, October to January type of look throughout these movies. This one definitely reflects that, and the cinematographer did a very good job capturing that, especially considering the fact that these films were mostly filmed in Vancouver or Toronto. All I know is they were filmed mostly in Canada, which makes sense because there's parts of Canada that look like what I just described. And well, obviously, the Twilight movies are based off of books by Stephanie Meyer. I think, and I agree with everybody's criticism about these films. I think she really did romanticize and disenfranchise the vampire and werewolf underworld mythology quite a bit to over-exaggerations in these films. I definitely agree. Doesn't mean they're bad movies. So I will still defend them. And that's really pretty much all there's to say about the first film. And it definitely was successful because there are 4 more movies, and I will talk about them next, one at a time. See you guys on the next review. Until then.